From the darkest corners of Reddit, these are the stories that should never be forgotten. Welcome. Before we unleash the mystery, make sure you subscribe, like, and hit the notification bell. Let's get started. Disturbing Reddit stories. The man across the hall. I moved into a tiny apartment after graduating college. It wasn't anything special, but the rent was cheap and the neighborhood was quiet. Across the hall lived an older man who never spoke. I'd see him every morning standing in his doorway, staring into the hallway without saying a word. After a week, I noticed something strange. Every time I left for work, he would quietly close his door behind me. When I came home, it would open again just enough for him to watch me walk back to my apartment. One Friday, I got home earlier than usual. His door was wide open. The apartment was completely empty. No furniture, no lights, nothing. Confused, I asked the landlord if the man had moved out. He looked at me strangely. There hasn't been anyone living in that unit for almost 6 months. I laughed, thinking it was a joke. The landlord didn't. The next morning, there was a note taped to my door. You weren't supposed to come home early. I moved out that same week. Someone was inside my house. I live alone, so whenever something feels off, I usually blame myself. One night, I came home from work and found every cabinet in my kitchen slightly open. I was sure I'd forgotten to close them. The next morning, every cabinet was closed again. A few days later, I found muddy footprints leading from my back door to the hallway. I don't own boots. I installed a security camera in my living room. That night, I watched the footage. At around 2:47 a.m., my bedroom door slowly opened. I expected to see myself sleepwalking. Instead, someone quietly walked out of my room. A man. He looked directly into the camera, smiled, and disappeared into the hallway. I called the police immediately. They searched the house. Nothing. Before leaving, one officer asked me a question I'll never forget. Do you always leave your attic unlocked? I didn't even know I had an attic. I started receiving packages I never ordered. This happened last winter and I still have no idea who was sending them. It started with a small brown box sitting on my front porch. There wasn't a return address, just my name and my home address written in neat black handwriting. I assumed it was something I'd forgotten I ordered. Inside was an old Polaroid camera. No note, no receipt, nothing. It was strange, but I figured maybe a friend had sent it as a joke. A week later, another package arrived. This one contained a single photograph. It was a picture of my house. Not from the street, but from the edge of my backyard, looking directly at my bedroom window. I felt uneasy, but I convinced myself it had to be someone messing with me. I installed a doorbell camera and reported the packages to the police. They told me there wasn't much they could do unless the packages contained threats. The third package came 3 days later. Inside was another photo. This time, it was me. I was sitting on my couch watching television. The picture had been taken through my living room window. I immediately reviewed the doorbell camera, hoping to catch whoever delivered it. Nothing. The package had simply appeared between recordings. It was as if someone knew the exact moment the camera stopped detecting motion. I stopped sleeping well after that. Every little sound outside made me check the windows. I even stayed with my brother for a few nights, hoping whoever was doing this would give up. When I returned home, there was another package waiting. I almost didn't open it. Inside was a flash drive. Curiosity got the better of me. I plugged it into an old laptop. It contained dozens of video clips. The oldest was dated almost 2 years earlier. Every clip showed me leaving for work, taking out the trash, bringing groceries inside, walking my dog, Some of the videos had been filmed from inside my own backyard, others from inside my house. I paused one of the clips and felt my stomach drop. The camera was inside my bedroom. It was filming me while I slept. I called the police immediately. They searched every room, every closet, the attic, even the crawl space. They found no cameras, no signs of forced entry, nothing. Before they left, one detective asked to see the flash drive again. He stared at one particular frame for a long time. Then he asked me quietly, "Who is that standing behind your bed?" I looked closer. There, barely visible in the darkness, was the silhouette of a man. He wasn't moving. He was just watching me sleep. I sold the house 6 months later. I never told the new owners why, but every now and then I still wonder who was recording the final video, because the timestamp was 3 days after I'd already moved out. The Airbnb had one rule. A couple of years ago, I booked a cabin on Airbnb for a weekend by myself. I wanted somewhere quiet to finish a project, and this place was exactly that, deep in the woods, miles from the nearest town. The owner left me a handwritten note on the kitchen table. It only had one rule. If someone knocks after midnight, don't answer. We don't have neighbors. I laughed when I read it. I figured it was just part of the cabin's spooky charm. The first day was completely normal. I hiked, cooked dinner, watched a movie, and went to bed around 11. At exactly 12:17 a.m., 3 slow knocks echoed through the cabin. Knock, knock, knock. I froze. I remembered the note and stayed in bed. A minute later, another 3 knocks, then a woman's voice. "Excuse me, my car broke down. Can you please help me?" She sounded terrified. I reached for my phone to call the police, but there was no signal. The voice kept talking. "I can see you by the window." My blood ran cold. The curtains were closed. There was no way she could see me. Then she laughed, not a nervous laugh, a slow, deliberate one. The knocking stopped. I stayed awake until sunrise. The next morning, I stepped outside and noticed muddy footprints leading to the front porch, only toward the cabin. There were no footprints leading away. When I checked out, I asked the owner if anyone else had been staying nearby. He stared at me for a second before asking, "You didn't answer the door, did you?" I told him no. He looked relieved. Then he said something I'll never forget. "You're the first guest this year who didn't." I never asked what happened to the others. Someone was answering my texts. This happened about a year ago, and to this day I still have the screenshots. My best friend, Ethan, died in a car accident. We had known each other since middle school, and losing him felt unreal. For weeks after the funeral, I couldn't bring myself to delete our old messages. Every now and then I'd scroll through them, reading old jokes and conversations just to feel like he was still around. One night, around 1:40 a.m., I couldn't sleep. Without thinking, I opened our chat and typed, "I miss you, man." I hit send, fully expecting it to disappear into an inactive number. About 30 seconds later, the typing indicator appeared. I stared at my phone, convinced it had to be a glitch. Then a message came through. "I miss you too." My heart started pounding. I immediately called the number. It rang once, then the call ended. I tried again. This time it went straight to voicemail. The voicemail greeting was gone. Just silence. The next morning, I convinced myself someone else must have been given Ethan's old phone number. It made sense, even if it felt strange. So I sent another message. "Who is this?" The reply came almost instantly. "You already know." I stopped texting after that, or at least I tried to. That evening, another message appeared. "How's the new apartment?" I froze. I had moved just 2 weeks earlier, Only my family and a few close friends knew my new address. I didn't reply. Another message came in. The kitchen is bigger than your old place. I looked toward my kitchen. No one was there. I checked every room anyway, closets, bathroom, even under the bed. Nothing. I told myself someone was trying to scare me. The next day I changed my phone number. For a few hours, everything was quiet. Then my new phone buzzed. Unknown number. Changing numbers won't help. I felt sick. I hadn't given my new number to anyone yet. Over the next week, the messages became more specific. You should really fix that dripping faucet. The faucet had started leaking that morning. Your bedroom window doesn't lock properly. I got up and checked. It didn't. I called the police. They asked if anyone could have access to my house or if I was being harassed by someone I knew. I couldn't think of anyone. They searched the apartment and found nothing unusual. No hidden cameras, no signs of forced entry, nothing. That night, I unplugged my phone and stuffed it in a drawer. I didn't want to see another message. Around 3 a.m., I woke up to a vibration. Somehow, the phone had turned itself back on. There was one unread text. You forgot to check the closet. I grabbed a flashlight and a kitchen knife before slowly opening the bedroom closet. It was empty. I laughed out loud, partly from relief. Then my phone vibrated again. The hallway closet. Every hair on my body stood up. There was only one hallway closet in the apartment, the one that held the water heater. I didn't open it. I ran out of the apartment, got in my car, and drove straight to the nearest police station. 2 officers returned with me. One of them opened the closet door. Inside, they found sleeping bags, empty food wrappers, bottled water, and dozens of printed photographs. Every single one was of me, sleeping, cooking, watching television. Some had been taken through my windows. Others had clearly been taken from inside the apartment. The police never found whoever had been living there. They dusted for fingerprints, collected DNA, and searched the building. Nothing ever led to a suspect. Before I moved out, I looked at my phone one last time. There was one final message waiting. It had been sent while I was standing inside the police station. It simply read, "Wrong closet." Do you have disturbing stories as well? Let me know in the comments for more stories like this. Until the next discovery, stay curious.